real quick story. When we teamed up about 6 years ago, that's why we did, is because we have two different skill sets. She wanted what I had, I wanted what she had, and she is, in my opinion, the master of relationships. And it's just because of who she is, most of all.
She's so sweet.
She's just real. But I think it's huge. You could learn a lot from what she's going to tell you, and just a lot of it is just common sense, but it's hard for some of us to do.
Like you said, my passion is helping others, and so it's really cool because we were able to partner. Because of his skill set, he focuses on what he loves, I'm able to focus on what I love, and our team, that's how we build our team, is everybody focuses on where they're good. So whether you're a realtor or anything in your business, I mean, just as a little outside note, if you can get in the place where you're doing what you love, then your business just goes to a whole nother level. And it feels good when you go home, you don't feel the stresses of the things, because we put ourselves in those positions where we're doing things we're not good at. It adds a level of stress. We can do it for so long, but not for a long period, not over a period of time. You know, like I love what Craig does. It's fun, interesting to me, but I'm not fantastic at it. You know, he's amazing at it. But how do you build your relationships? Are you know, what is it that you love to do? Some people like the B&I group, and that's a great way because it's very purposeful, and they feel like, you know, well, I'm going there for a purpose, which is very good. And then other folks like myself, I really enjoy like things in the community that I feel like I can give back to, and I go into any relationship, any networking opportunity, whether it is, I don't really think about how is it really going to impact our business. I think of it as how is it going to help these other folks that I'm actually in front of? Like, how is it going to make a difference to them and their life, and where can we make an impact? But I mean, like, you know, there's interesting to have hobbies that we love that fuel us and give us energy. And I think that being able to tap into those, to be able to build a network, you don't necessarily go into, like, you know, if you have a pilot association, I'm sure there's groups and things for your real estate side, but people are going to know you, and they're going to know your character and who you are, and they're going to learn about how you interact, how you make them feel is really important. How you know, just who you are as a person is so important to, you know, how they feel you're going to help them through a really challenging, one of the most challenging situations in their life. Whether it's buying a home or you're helping them with internet marketing, that's a pain for a lot of people. So and it's a necessity. So it's like if you can find those areas where you can help people, that seems to be that's what I found my happy place. My husband's a coach, a business coach, and he helps me a lot. And he was talking to me about how Tony Robbins said there's 16 impressions that you have to make online before people pay attention to you. And I was thinking today, you know, it's really about wrapping it all together. It's taking what Craig is really good at and then wrapping it together with your personal relationship. So you have that one-on-one, face-to-face. Like, that's your differentiator. Because people lean on technology a lot, but they don't take the time necessarily to do the one-on-one, the face-to-face, the real interacting, the really getting to know that person. Like, you have so many secrets now. You have so many ways to find out who that person is. We didn't have that before. We had to, like, dig and hope we got to know them, and hope we got to figure out who they were. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, they have a dog and they're passionate about that. Or they're passionate about their son who's going into the Army. So that builds that foundation of relationship between us, because now we have a little common denominator.
I would say that's such a great advantage that we take for granted these days, is that, you know, social media and technology is such a bridge from, you know, if you met someone 7 months ago and you had a really good conversation and hit it off, and then, you know, but you live in a different state, and then you go back 8 months later, it's not like, you know, you're a stranger. I mean, you've continued that relationship through maybe not even talking, but just visualizing, and I think that really helps keep that relationship going.
Advantage. I mean, and it's so helpful, especially if you're a shyer person and you don't have, you know, we're all built differently of who we are, and I don't like doing what I'm doing right now at all. I'm sweating and red. But I love like that one-on-one group setting. Like yesterday I had a board meeting, and I was in a board meeting, I thought, it's my first one, I just got inducted in this board, and I thought, oh, I'm nervous, I had to meet like 15 new people. And I'm like, as long as it wasn't on me. As soon as they asked me to talk about myself, I was like, oh, I don't even know. But I'm just a person. Here, let me sit down. You know? But as soon as I was able to talk about how I could impact that group, it took a lot of that rejection or whatever that fear is. I don't really know where it comes from. I really don't. But
I think that's because when you got into that moment, you were giving, and it was what your passion was. So you felt confident and that you were helping, and that makes you comfortable.
Right. Anyways, so the point of that was basically is you want to take what Craig is doing and the pieces you can do, and you can do it so easily now, and then wrap it with your networking and make that, like, instant messaging is a beautiful thing. I don't even have to have Kelly's phone number. I can just instant message her, and I can say, hey, Kel, I saw you were in California. What an awesome trip you had. And that just builds a little bit of a bridge that starts that relationship. You don't even have to call them or text them, because texting can be a little bit invasive because you feel like you might have to respond back right away. I like texting too, but instant messaging is a beautiful tool for building relationships.
Your intent is the most important thing. If you're truly looking at Kelly's pictures and like, wow, that's a beautiful thing, and it was, you know, I like her, and I admire what she does. I mean, that's where the difference is, because a lot of people take that information and then they'll instant message and they have an agenda.
Right.
And then you can see right through that agenda. So that's where it's hard for some people. So you need to actually stop and look at Kelly's pictures. And and listen to Kelly when you talk to her. So and that sounds really silly, but we're in a fast-paced world, and a lot of people don't think of that. So I think that's an important part of it.
It's easy to like a post. It's easy to do that, and we should do that. If you want to show people that you care, because they're posting it. If someone takes the time to post a picture of something, they care about that. So if you can build that little bit of a relationships through instant messaging, even if you want, like, there's a realtor, a top realtor in the country that I was definitely afraid of, because when I was a rookie, he was here, and now he's like #1 in the country. I instant messaged him to get a meeting with him. And I didn't know if he'd say yes or no. He could have said, I'm not talking to her. I mean, I don't know who she is. She was a realtor. Who cares, But he took the time to do it, and now we have this really small relationship, but we have a relationship now. At least I could call on him if I had a question.
Ask you a question?
Sure.
When you instant message a person and that person doesn't reply for a day or two,
Don't worry about it.
That's the beauty of it. They will respond when they want to and when they can.
Because not everybody.
because I'm a very emotional person and I feel like, okay, you know what, I sent the message, I didn't hear back, maybe I'm bugging this person,
No,
is it
it's all in your
to do
head.
that?
It really is between your. It's between.
I'm not telling you the
No.
truth, that's how I am.
Well, the thing of it is like, and I understand why you're saying that, but not everybody looks at their instant message every day, and some people I think
Some people don't go on
They
there.
don't go on
I've
it.
had intentions to respond, oh, I'm busy, I'll do it later, and I forget, and I respond to it later.
We've all done that. I mean, how many times have we done that with a voicemail?
Yes.
And you're like, shoot. Like 3 days later, they call again, you're like, I forgot to call.
We run to the first, you're like, oh, I totally forgot. It's not intentional, but I think that we are so bombarded with information. I mean, we are more, I know there's stats on this somewhere, I'm sure Craig knows them or knows where to get them, but how much information is pushed into us every day. I mean, it's more than ever. I mean, we used to be, we had to go sit on our sofa to have stuff, or sit in our car and listen to the radio, but now our device is in our hand, and the information is constantly being inputted on us. So, and everybody as well-intentioned as everybody is, and then you got kids and families and jobs and responsibilities on top of that. It's very easy for people to overlook a text. And so like you hope that someone's forgiving of you if you do it, and you want to be forgiving of someone if they do it. So maybe you say, hey, I don't know if you missed me. Maybe you can call them. I mean, just, hey, I just want to say I'm thinking about you, or whatever it is, and hopefully you build that. So, I mean, it's easy. I know what you're saying, but don't take it personal.
No, there's no emotion in texting or instant message. You can't see emotion. So just let it go.
Yeah.
Today's world is too fast-paced, right?
That goes the other way too. Some people are more emotional than others, so be careful how you text, because texting has no emotion. Some people, when you respond, if you're a very matter-of-fact person and you give a quick answer, I'm sure husband and wives deal with this all the time.
Emojis help.
It's kind of like, are you mad at me? So take that into consideration too, how you write things out.
That's true. Very true. I watched a video of a guy named Gia Jiang. He does. Have you ever watched TED Talks? They're great. And there's a lot of great, cool stuff we can watch now and take in. He was rejected at 6, you know, at a school thing. You know how we all have that thing where you pick for kickball or whatever it was, and we didn't because we weren't athletic or whatever. I was a terrible singer, so I didn't get to pick them for the play. But you know, we have those things, and they kind of like sit with us our whole life. Well, he had one of those things happen to him. And then as he got to 16, he thought, he's like, I'm gonna take on the world. But this like thing that happened to him when he was a kid kept interfering with that, I'm gonna take on the world. And he wanted to like buy Microsoft. I mean, it's a cool story and he's funny too. But he did this 100 days of rejection because I think a lot of times we don't do things or interact with people that maybe like that top realtor in the country or that top business person or this county official or whoever, because we think we're gonna get rejected or that we're not important enough or whatever reason. Basically just wrap it all together and try to make it work for you is kind of where my takeaway is for growing your business.
The most amazing part of what I mean, I'm from afar watching what she does, and it's amazing to see the people that just come out of nowhere 3-4 years later, and they're just like, oh, Shelly, and you know, it's like she keeps those relationships going, and they're from the heart. So I think that's a huge part of our business is, you know, those relationships that have been cemented for over the length of time.
And if you're blessed enough to do what you love, that's the best thing. I mean, we listen to a guy named Gary Vee a lot. Greg and I both do, and actually Craig shared him with me, and he's one of the, I don't know if you've heard of him, and he cusses a lot, so that's but he's really real, and he really, the thing of it is execution and keeping it and doing what you love, and if you can dig into that and have a spouse or whoever in your life that can help you do that, then your life will be fuller too, and you have a great business on top of it.
Ideas are shit. Because it's true, execution is what gets your results. So.
Thank you for entertaining me.